Hello everybody. So today I want to make a quick video based on a few comments I've received about Tesla and a few about Bitcoin, although not that many. As you know, Tesla used to be my longest position until my biggest position until a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And then unfortunately, Bitcoin decided to do a double in next to no time, and it's actually done more than a triple compared to some of the third wave of me buying Bitcoin. I've bought Bitcoin in multiple ways, but I would argue when I was making these videos a year and a half ago now. That video was made on November 18, for example. That was really the early days of the channel. And I'm a Bitcoin conviction series. You may remember if you followed the channel back then. Probably not, because nobody did. But, it's like I had a big Bitcoin position. And so, unfortunately, or fortunately, it depends, Bitcoin has decided to become half of my portfolio. And MicroStrategy, I'm actually at almost 8x compared to my cost average on MicroStrategy right now. But if you know me, if you follow the channel, you know that I am definitely never ever selling my Bitcoin. I mean, never say never, but at least not for the next 20 years. And even then, the plan is to borrow against it as currencies eventually hyperinflate. At least that is the plan. And I feel the same way about Tesla. But Tesla used to be my number one position, but that was a very purposeful thing. And unfortunately, Tesla is not the number one position anymore. And I'm gonna try. I mean, it's not going to be possible to catch up to how much Bitcoin is now, but to catch up with money, of course, unless Tesla does a double or a triple or quadruple, and then it will be fun to look at both assets kind of compete in my portfolio. But for now, Tesla has been dropping, and so I'm slightly in the red now on Tesla, and it's time for me to add Tesla, and I've been adding Tesla, especially under 180. I've been going more heavy under 180, and I added right before close to 9. I actually added at 169, and I'm adding to Tesla because why? Because Tesla, in my view, is the other apex asset, what I call the apex asset, the asset to rule them all. And I see only two apex assets right now, Tesla and Bitcoin. These are the two assets of our generation, of the generation of investor, of the 2020s, the 2030s. This is the assets of our generation. It's the way I look at it. Elon Musk is bigger than Thomas Edison, in my view. I was reading the other day a 1903 Sears magazine and looking at Edison and all of the products that Edison was making in the early 1900s selling on the Sears magazine. Well, I see Tesla headed the same way and then some. And of course, if you look at the returns, you can see it's more than a double the Nasdaq, And this is not cherry picking. This is from their IPO, right, on in June 2010 until today. They have accomplished more than double what the Nasdaq has, more than double what the Nasdaq has for the total return. And you may say, oh, look, it's an anomaly. Oh, look, the stock has been going up. But keep in mind, if you look at this chart, this is not a log scale, right? So you can't see barely anything more than the thickness of a trait because this is not on a log scale. But if you go back to 2013, 2014-ish, you can find a similar movement. And if you go back to 2015, 2016-ish, you can find a similar movement. It's just that you can't really see it on that total return calculator. But you know what? You'll never be able to see it on a total return calculator because this stock, Tesla, grows like a coiled spring. It grows like a coil, and then it explodes. Kind of a balloon that you fill with air, and then the balloon explodes or the tire explodes. As you put more air, it will explode to the upside. This is how these assets work. These assets do a bunch of nothing for a long time, and then in just a few days they explode. And the same is true for Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't do much until it doubled, and it doubled in what, a matter of 2 weeks. So if you weren't in the asset, you were in trouble. So this is an asset I'm happy to own and just own and increasing my position in it this is feeling more and more right to buy Tesla right now, as the media is overwhelmingly negative. Right, you wake up in the morning, if you turn on CNBC, it's Tesla bashing 24/7. This morning I woke up, opened the CNBC app on my phone. All I see is Wells Fargo accelerating on Tesla, and so thank you, Wells Fargo. I'd be interested to see what a company like SoFi says about you about 10 years from now. It will be interesting to see how Wells Fargo is going to make it with 8,000 branches in a cashless era. We'll see what you end up doing with these branches, Wells Fargo, that you're still building, by the way, but that's okay. Legacy, I guess I should be thankful, right? I am thankful. I honestly, my portfolio has honestly been way up beyond what I would have hoped right now, especially with the bad news of March. The bad news of interest rates not going down in March and not going down in May, and it's just that the macroeconomics, right, the monetary printing that is seemingly slowed down right now, that interest rates, it just is a more minor part of an investment strategy. The bigger part of an investment strategy is actually that asset, that exponential asset, the exponentiality of the asset. The growth of a company like Tesla beats, over a very long run, beats the speed at which we can print the money, which is why I fundamentally believe it is still fine to own stocks. Stocks, in my view, they're still going to be a major form of investing in the future. But stocks, and this is something we don't see yet, stocks are technically riskier than Bitcoin, because you're taking on a whole bunch of risk with stocks that you're not taking with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just money. Bitcoin is just like a savings account. Not the same can be said about stocks. Stocks, you're taking risk, but stocks are not disrupted by Bitcoin, right? The disruption of Bitcoin is disrupting what? It's disrupting bonds. It's disrupting expensive real estate. That's what Bitcoin is disrupting. Sorry, that was a tangent. So let me get back and tell you why I own Tesla. So I own Tesla and Bitcoin, and I see it very similar. I see them as major disruptors. They are 0 to 1 ideas. That's what they are, right? Tesla has pushed the entire market into the world of electricity and into the use of electricity away from fossil fuels. That's what Tesla has done, and this company has done so, of course, because it is much more efficient to use electricity than it is to use gas. And this is something that people, still in the mainstream, right, are not seeing yet because of the lack of ability to think exponentially. But if you know anything about Tesla got started when the early founders and Musk noticed the declining cost curve of batteries in laptops, and they said, oh, wait a minute, well, if this continues at that rate, electric cars are going to be a no-brainer in the future. They're going to be very, very, very obvious. And wait a minute, batteries are much more valuable, much more important than, say, gasoline. It's next generation. There are the density that you're going to be able to have on a battery, the energy density, that density within 4, 8, 12 years is going to be much greater than the density that we even get in kerosene. And this is something that is hard to see right now. But if you follow some of the more forward-thinking folks, like Cathie Wood, like Tony Seba, you can see we're getting there. And remember, as of the past 1 year roughly, we're having AIs develop these technologies, right? We're having AIs help us achieve breakthroughs. And so Tesla is disrupting the world of energy, and it's likely going to disrupt the world of labor if it is successful with embodied AI. And embodied AI is becoming a narrative today. Tesla, if you really think about the place of Tesla in the world of companies, it's similar to what Rockefeller built. This is not the first time we have an and again, I realize Tesla is not there yet because there's a lot of legacy thinking. So if you think of Tesla the same way as someone in the let's say the 1880s, someone in the early 1880s would have looked at Rockefeller and could have said, oh, well, wait a minute, these gas cars, they're never going to catch on. What is this? This is a pipeline? This is ridiculous. Pipelines. What is that? I mean, think about Rockefeller. He's an idiot. He wants to build pipes to connect cities. Why doesn't he use the train? The train is a reliable technology, 1700s, and then you get this guy who wants to build a pipeline. Like, what the hell? I mean that makes sense. It's and the same is true of, we look at Tesla and people make fun of him, and it's like, oh, what do you mean? He wants a Powerwall, and he wants to put Powerwall in the house and use the car battery as a way to power the house. The disruption is all encompassing, just like Rockefeller Standard Oil was all encompassing back in its day. If you remember, well, you would not, you would likely not remember that. But when Rockefeller was split up, it was split into 16 different companies. And most energy companies that we know today in the oil and gas space can be traced back to Rockefeller. Well, maybe this is a foresign as to what's going to happen to Tesla 20 years from now. We'll see, but they are setting the seeds to become an empire, just like Rockefeller became. And Bitcoin has the potential to disrupt money itself and finance itself. And that's really a disruption of what the Medici family invented in the 1450s, which was fractional reserve and double-sided accounting. The idea that you can just write something on the books and lend money to someone else by just playing a game of books, as opposed to actually having a one-for-one account of the money. And so Bitcoin is doing that. Bitcoin is disrupting that because it's auditable, and it's a disruption of finance as we know it. So we have two major disruptors. I call them apex disruptors, and both of them, in my view, are 0 to 1 ideas. And I'm very comfortable owning both of those. And again, the valuation is not something that I look at, because Amazon is still overvalued, right? And Amazon revolutionized commerce, and they're still overvalued. You can be overvalued for 20 years, overvalued all the way for 20 years. I have this bias towards inexpensive companies and looking for an inexpensive company. But what you may know about my style of investing is that I always favor position sizing. The size of the position is much more important than what entry level you get. Like who cares if you got Bitcoin for cheap if you only got one Bitcoin, right? Who cares if you bought Bitcoin for $250 in 2015, right? But you only bought one. Right, that's, I mean that's great, I suppose, but it would be much better to have bought Bitcoin at 10,000. But when you bought it at 10,000, you bought 20 Bitcoins or something like that. That makes sense. Like, position size, in my view, matters. The right position is what is what matters, because if you put no money in your highest conviction, then a 10x won't do much. So, anyways. I'm sorry, this is kind of a tangent video. I did not plan making a video today, so that's why you get more of a tangent. Point. Tesla. Tesla, where are we today right now? Well, this is the circle of adoption, right? This is the S-curve, and right now it might be more like this. Like, this is more like about here, because Tesla is about 5% now. EV sold in the US are at about 7%. So it's changed a little bit since 2022, but you can clearly see that in the US, there is one leader, and that leader is Tesla. And if the US transitions to electric cars, it will be Teslas. Teslas, in my view, will be the iPhones of cars. And if you go to Europe, you see a similar pattern. If you go to China, you see a similar pattern, with Tesla being a formidable competitor in China. In most of its market, Tesla is a formidable competitor. Really, the only market where it's not too big of a competitor right now is Europe, and that is because Europeans like very small cars, like the Model 2, which is going to be released in 2 years. And, it's true that if you go to Europe, the Model 3 still looks like a bigger car, right? It's not a compact car like European cities require, but they're going to release that car. And keep in mind, there's huge markets that Tesla is not in. Huge ones, like India, like Brazil. There's tremendous market where Tesla has not entered. So this company has a potential to become a much bigger company on the car alone. But, let's look at the car. So why is this going to work? Why do I believe that Tesla is going to take over? It's just a matter of time. Because in my view, electric cars are between 1 and 2 orders of magnitude, 10x, right? That's 0 to 1, the 0 to 1 concept. Between 1 and 2 orders, orders of magnitude better than gas cars, right? So Teslas, again, this is old data, but this is kind of what we get. Tesla, about $7. It's actually a little less than that, depending on your contract. But let's say $4 to $7 for a full charge. Legacy auto, a car, $70 for a full tank. I mean, that alone, if you do a medium to high use of your vehicle, that alone should be sufficient to push the daily commuter to switch to an electric car. And in the US, we know what that's going to be. That's likely going to be a Tesla, right? Tesla, in the early days, we remember famously the 1 million mile car. Legacy auto, max, you're going to get 200,000 miles. Tesla, more realistically, the average Tesla is close to 500,000 miles is what we estimate how long they're going to last. 18 moving parts in a Tesla, very low repairs. Legacy auto, hundreds of moving parts. Almost no maintenance. Legacy auto has a lot of maintenance. Software updates, the car updates, and you get a new car every day because every day there's a new software in the car. Legacy auto still can't do that. They can't figure it out. You don't go to the gas station anymore. That's a plus. Gas stations are actually very dirty. A lot of people, women particularly, but not just that. Like a lot of people find gas stations very dirty. You gotta put the thing on your hands to, the sanitizer. Have you ever seen a diesel pump? A diesel pump is like an oil fryer. It's so dirty, right? You don't go there anymore. If you meet someone with an electric car, you'll find, I can't remember the last time I've been to the gas station. Legacy auto, you still have to go to the gas station. Not to mention that convenience stores and gas stations are respectively numbered places 3 and 5 for crime. They're very, very high crime places that's depending on where you're at, you may not want to go. You buy it online. There's very interesting surveys of what people would rather do than buy a car at the dealership or dealing with a dealership salesman, right? People want to buy online. The youth wants to buy online. They don't want to go on a website that redirects them to the dealer, right? Computer on wheels. You can play video games in your Tesla. You get YouTube. You can update it. You get a sound system. You get everything. Legacy auto, it's a work in progress. Not very yet. Charging at home is a big plus. You always have a full charge. Highest safety ratings. HEPA filters, right? They have the best hair filters, best driving performance, right? If you're interested in a sports car, you're likely going to choose an electric car, and it's likely going to be the Model S Plaid. It's going to be much cheaper than a lot of the legacy vehicles like the Lamborghinis, etc. Inexpensive insurance. Tesla is pushing down the prices of insurance by offering insurance in many, many, many states in the US. I am in Texas. We have Tesla insurance in Texas, and it's cheap. It's cheap. Gas car insurance, if you follow the headlines, they keep going up, up, up. So this is just one of the reasons why it's a 0 to 1 product, in my view. But electric cars may be valued into the stock. The valuation may be built into the stock. Some argue. I think it's still cheap compared to where this is going to take us. But these are things that are mostly not into the stock. Maybe a teeny tiny bit energy. Maybe a tiny bit. But the rest of this is not into the stock. And that is, in my view, the most exciting part of Tesla. The mega packs, these cost millions of dollars, and they have a growth runway like none other. You gotta wait more than a year to get one of those. Then you have the Powerwall. So Tesla Solar is not working. Tesla Solar failed, I would argue. We'll see how it goes, and they're going to keep fighting and keep trying, but it's not doing too well. But nobody would say that about the Tesla Powerwall. In fact, what happens, the Powerwall is the most popular at-home energy storage device, and it's very common for anybody installing solar to pair whatever system people want with their own microinverter, etc., to pair that with a Tesla Powerwall. They are the leader in that. So they're a leader in megapacks, right, which are front of the meter, behind the meter, energy battery storage systems. They're the leader in that, and they're the leader in Powerwalls. That has a lot of value right there. Solar, we'll see if they make it. We'll see. Tesla energy trading, entirely ignored Tesla energy trading. But you can trade energy just like you can trade stocks, and they use AI, their software, to offer energy trading to utility companies and also to do their own trading. They have a utility. In Texas, you can buy your energy from Tesla, and they're going to have utilities in more states. They have insurance. They have a worldwide charger network. Worldwide charger network. I also forget, because this is not something to mention here, but if you were to compare Tesla to, say, Legacy Auto, also don't forget, keep in mind that they own their own dealers, right? There is no dealers at Tesla, i.e. they own them. They own that entire value chain. The rest owns dealers. Then they have the muchly laughed about by legacy media, really laughs about Tesla FSD or AI initiatives, and they make fun of it. Like, they entirely make fun of it. But I find it outstanding, and you would have to see for yourself the great things that this does. But if you dig deeper, it doesn't take a genius to realize that level 3 self-driving from, say, companies like Mercedes is not exactly the right type of level 3 or the type that people are going to buy. Then this is something that I see nobody in the Tesla community talk about, which is the privileged relationship with Grok at Twitter and the co-founder of OpenAI, and the privileged relationship between Tesla and the companies founded by Elon Musk. This is I think, something that's highly underlooked, because a relationship is valuable, and when your CEO has access to other companies that are also leading, that right there is perhaps just as valuable as a single division that I may have mentioned here. Like, this is worth its bullet point. That relationship with Grok at Twitter and their own open language, natural language processing, their own GPT system, that's going to allow them to get synergies with their bot, and I'll get to the bot in a second. But if you looked at this video today, that was released by Figure AI. And by the way, like a professional tip, depending on how much time you have, and I realize that I am guilty of speaking too much, but a pro tip is just register to the company yourself, and you can just watch the video, and it's 2 minutes and 35, and have an idea on your own. And then if you want to watch commentaries by Tesla YouTubers, there's been many videos from Tesla YouTubers. This was published 7 hours ago now. It's like you have a 55-minute video of a commentary of a 2-minute video, and they're going to comment for 55 minutes on a 2-minute video. And I recommend just looking at a 2-minute video and making your own opinion about it, and then you go ahead and you listen if you want to hear more about it. But this is absolutely stunning in my view. This is a stunning video. You should look at it. I'm not going to tell you about it. Just look at it. But this is a proof of concept. This is showing that this embodied AI, which we have a name for it, embodied AI is the name of this type of AI. That's likely going to be the thing. And who was early? Who was a pioneer in this space? Well, that was Tesla. Tesla was very early in this space, and they've been ridiculed for well over a year now with their Optimus program. And I find interesting that Tesla gets ridiculed for this, but Figure AI everybody seems to love. It's kind of silly, but if they're going to be a thing, I don't know who the manufacturing partner of Figure AI is going to be, but they're going to have to find one. But Tesla, we know that one thing Tesla is good at is manufacturing. They can manufacture stuff. They can get things done, and so maybe even the mass product might be for Tesla to grab, and that's embodied AI, and that right there is not reflected into the stock whatsoever. Optionality abounds for Tesla. This is just the beginning. And it's all a matter of getting the attention of the leadership focused on these different initiatives, because they already have a lot to focus on. But once those initiatives are on their way on autopilot, there will be even more opportunities. An opportunity that's very, very little discussed is the opportunity for Tesla, for example, to disrupt HVAC system and AC units. That's a disruption that could be coming, that Tesla might do. Disrupt computing and cloud computing. That's another opportunity. Energy is so related to all of this. That's why this company, in my view, Tesla, looks much more like a Rockefeller empire, much more like a Standard Oil than it looks like an auto company. And that's just my 2 cents. So I'm happy to buy the stock at 169. I have no idea where the stock is headed. I have no idea. I take it day by day. I know that if it keeps dropping, I'll keep buying. And if it's up, I probably will pause my buys. So right now it's like I'm as long as it gets lower, I'm going to buy more and a little more each time it gets lower. And on up days, I'm not going to buy. And we'll see where that takes me. But I'm very bullish on this company. And I know I don't cover Tesla much on the channel because everybody else on YouTube covers it. And I don't cover Bitcoin much on the channel because people tend to unsubscribe whenever I cover Bitcoin. But I will cover Bitcoin again. I will be covering Bitcoin soon and preparing a video and telling you, my thoughts about Bitcoin, because this channel is named Beat the Denominator for a reason. When I first created this channel, I wanted it to be much more about monetary policy than stocks, and Bitcoin than stocks. But it turns out, I love stocks, and so I'm talking about stocks more often right now. But we'll see where I take this channel. Thank you so much for watching. This was not investment advice, no financial advice. This is just entertainment. Appreciate your likes, appreciate your subscribes. Please follow me on X. Have a wonderful day.